So we move on to the men's 4,000 metre individual pursuit for the C4 classification. Starting off with the race for bronze, we see Scott Martin from the USA on screen. His qualification time was 4:48.063, and that was about 3.7 slower than his opponent here on the other side of the track. That's Diego DUENAS Gomez from Colombia. So on the far side of the track is Scott Martin from the USA in this 4,000 metre men's C4 individual pursuit. DUENAS Gomez, 26 years of age, and it is Scott Martin turning 35 years of age today.
Well, wouldn't this be a lovely birthday present for the Army veteran? He came 15th in the time trial. I'm sure he'd absolutely love to get a medal. So it's a speed endurance event. 4,000 metres, very painful, and remembering that both cyclists, well, they look pretty close at this stage, but both cyclists have already ridden the qualifying in the first session of day 3, so it's a tough ask to back up later in the day. You only have a few hours off, have to have something to eat, plenty to drink, and recover those legs.
Yeah, so if anything, DUENAS Gomez has a slender margin over Scott Martin as we split the screen, and heading towards the first real guide. And at this point in time, it's Martin leading by about 0.4 of a second. So there's little in this bronze medal clash at the moment, remembering that with the individual pursuit in the race for medals, if there's a capture, the race is over, and the capturer is declared the winner of the race. And at the 1,000 metre mark, it was Martin 1:16.172, leading DUENAS Gomez by only 0.8, 1:16.969.
Yes, well, looks as though they're reasonably closely matched at this stage. It doesn't look like a capture might be on the cards, but what's going to be telling will be the final kilometre of this race, the final 1,000 metres, because it is just so difficult, and one of these athletes may well tire, remembering that the bronze medal is at stake.
So the man who lives in Colorado Springs, born in Michigan City, Scott Martin. Jeffrey is his actual first name, but he likes to be referred to as Scott Martin, and he leads by over a second here. He's competing in 5 disciplines at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games cycling program, finished 15th in the 1,000 metre time trial.
And DUENAS Gomez from Colombia, 26 years of age, so he is 9 years younger, well, 10 years younger, given Scott Martin's birthday is today, but he will be looking for this medal because he was 4th in this event in London. And
this might be a bit of a breakthrough performance for Scott Martin, because he was just outside the medals at the World Championships some 2 years ago in the 4,000 metre individual pursuit, and finished 6th in the Pan American Games in Toronto last year. But this could be his biggest result to date, a Paralympic medal, with bronze being the colour. He needs to sustain this now at the 2,000 metre mark. He was leading DUENAS Gomez by over a second. Martin's time was 2:25.837. DUENAS Gomez's time was 2:26.94, now heading towards the 3 kilo mark.
Well, they are very closely matched and riding at a similar pace at the moment. The lead has just been hovering around that 0.7, 0.8 of a second in Martin's favour, but we'll get a good look again at the 3,000 metre mark to see how the two are faring. And as we see it there, it's still the advantage, and he's managed to scale it up just a little, Scott Martin.
I think this is going to be a bit of a thriller. Law, yes, he's clawing it back. DUENAS Gomez to 0.2, so it's almost level pegging now with only 3 laps of the velodrome to go. Make that 0.1. So it's almost dead level at the moment between Scott Martin and Diego DUENAS Gomez, and he's got into the front, the Colombian. He's now in front, but it's very close, and we've only got 2 laps of the velodrome to go. The American needs to dig deep. His coach is urging him on, but now it's to 0.1.
Well, this is an extraordinary ride from the Colombian. He's really got that kick in the final kilometre. As we were saying earlier, this speed endurance event is so painful, so difficult in these final stages. 1 lap to go. There's the bell, and DUENAS remains in front, but by less than a second.
It's less than a second, but he's coming home with a wet sail. So much energy at the end of this 4,000-metre men's C4 individual pursuit, and it's going to be a bronze medal to Colombia. In the end, it was 2.23 as he salutes the crowd. A big moment for Diego DUENAS Gomez, the 26-year-old, an overall time of 4:45.3, riding at 50.4 kilometres an hour, and has worn down Scott Martin of the USA.
Well, Scott Martin started out so well, and look, there wasn't much in it in the end. Across 4 kilometres, just about 2 seconds. It's not much at all. It's not a very big margin, but in the end, DUENAS Gomez just had the endurance, had the conditioning to be able to back up after a hard-fought battle in qualifying this morning to make sure he got into the top 4 to race off for this bronze medal. And supporters very emotional there. Well, that is fantastic news for Colombia, fantastic news for DUENAS Gomez. And oh, that's great to see.
It's one of the best individual pursuits we've seen at these Paralympic Games. Look at that, the pouring out of emotion. All of the hard work, it's worth it. Draping the Colombian flag around him. And now we move on to the gold